Hello, all. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining. It is such a pleasure to come and read with you guys again. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, today we are going to continue reading our story about my vacation. And today we are on to part three. So this is Patrick, and this is our final part on this story about my vacation. All right. So it is a pleasure having you guys here, and let's begin. Please, guys, comment in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from, and let us know if you are a beginner reader or if you are intermediate, what levels are you reading at each time? Please, guys, comment and let us know. Okay, that would help us with tailoring instructions so that our instruction can meet your needs. So, guys, go ahead in the comment section. Let's see you. This is your turn. This is your time to put in where you're from. Let us know where you're from, and then we'll begin. And also your time for a shout out, okay? So once you put in the comment section where you're from or you say hello, then I'm gonna be shouting you out, okay? I'm gonna be shouting you out, guys. So go ahead, guys. Let's see in the comment section. Let's see who's there with us. Let's see who's there with us, guys. It's always good to know who's here with us. All right. So let's see, guys. Let's see. Do we have anybody to shout out? Oh, yes, we have She Works Too. So we're going to shout out She Works Too. Hello. It is such a pleasure having you here. How, how are you doing? How are you doing? And please, guys, if you haven't done so, share this live with someone. Share this live with someone. We would really love that if you can share the live out to someone. There are so many persons who need these reading sessions. They can really help them. So if you know anyone who needs these reading sessions, please, guys, share it out. Share it out to them. Share it out to them. Go ahead, guys. Share it out to them. I'm giving you that chance right now to share it alive, and then we are going to begin. All right, guys. So I think it's time for us to begin. We are already 3 minutes in our session, so let's begin. Today we are going to be reading using whole word approach method. Remember, I said to you that for this particular story, we are doing whole word reading and we're looking at words that are difficult to call in English or to pronounce. Also, those words that are longer or those words that have a lot of letters. So you might not be familiar with some of them. Those that add endings, like inflectional endings, like ed, ing, and so on, because when they add ed, sometimes the ED song, you have 3 different songs at the ending. And there are lots of persons who still struggle with knowing which song to use, whether it's d, t, or it. And so we are practicing to master the usage of the songs. All right. So hopefully at the end of the session, you would have learned a lot in terms of the ED song and also words that you are still having problems pronouncing that you'll be able to pronounce them. All right. And that's how we're going to be reading today. Then we are going to be reading word by word. Then we build up to phrases and onward to reading by using our whole sentences. And with this, we would track our fluency to see how fluent we are. If at the ending we have time for questions, then I can do some questions with you so that we can show that you understand what the text is about. So that would be the context of the story. All right, guys, or the vocabulary. So let's go ahead and begin. So those of you who are here who are ESL learners, you're learning English as a second language, it is always great to have you to come by to learn English as a second language. And I just hope that this session will work for you, that you're able to learn a lot, guys. And please, guys, don't forget to comment in the comment section. So where you're from, that would help a lot. Okay, so let's begin. Remember, we are looking for words that might just be a bit difficult for you to call. This word says time, 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 time. The E at the end is silent, the I make a long sound. Remember, not in every case that the vowel that comes before would make a long sound. Time. When we talk about time, we are just actually talking about the distance between activities in terms of the hours or the minutes that or the seconds that exist between activities. Our next word, return, returned, returned. Remember, it ends with the letter N, and it's a song that we can hear. So therefore, we'll use the D sound for the ED. So we'll hear returned, returned, returned. When you return, so the root word, when you return, it simply means that you go back or you come back to a place. So return would mean that you go back or you come back to a place. All right. So to return would mean that you get back or you arrive back or you come again. You can use those words to also mean return or those phrases or to go back. Our next word, result. Result. All right. So in these two words, we see the prefix re. Re. And always remember when re is added to a word, it means again. Re means again. All right. So result. What is a result? And you may have been to a resort before. A resort is a place. You may have been to a resort before, maybe for different purposes. So a resort is actually like a retreat or a center, right? It is a place that you would go to for holidays or for recreation. And this place would be for a specific purpose. So if you go to a resort, it means that you are going there for pleasure, you're going there for relaxation. So, for example, a resort can be like a spa. A spa can be called a resort. A spot can be called a resort. All right. So, a resort is a place that you would go to for holidays or for recreation. And this must be for a particular purpose or um, for a particular activity. So, for example, there are resorts where you can go for holidays. There are resorts where you can go um, for sports, help with your sporting activities. There are different types of resorts. I know a lot of times when we hear the word resort, we think of automatically think of holidays, we think of rest, we think of relaxation. But a resort can also be for sports purposes or for other purposes, maybe for some sort of well-being purpose, or it might be for a mental purpose, for different purpose. Our next word, felt, felt, felt. Felt is the past tense for the word feel. Felt, the past tense for the word feel. All right. So when you have felt something, it simply means that you have feel it. All right. And to feel would mean that you are aware that it touched you, right? Or when you are being touched, or when you're able to make out something, you can also say that you feel it. Or when you're able to notice something, yeah, or even have that sense that that thing is present, you would say that you felt it. Our next word, elated, elated. And just like this, we have learned two songs for ED in this one. So return, we use the D song, and elated, we use the id song. Remember, when a word in English ends with a T sound or D sound, you would use the id sound. So elated, here we can see the small word it. We know that, yeah, the N is silent. And so it allows the vowel to call its own name. So, and the E before it makes the long E sound. So here, E, elated, elated. And if we look carefully, we might be able to spot the word late also. And that can help us to develop in understanding how to call the word. Okay, guys, let's keep going. Do you think you have it so far? I hope you do, because we are going nevertheless. Let's keep going. Our next word is this word, pre. So we see the prefix pre. And when something has the pre suffix, sorry, prefix, it is simply saying that it comes before. So pre would mean before. We have eyes, precise. Remember when C comes before E, I, or Y, we hear song like S. So yes, eyes. When S come before E, a lot of times it will make a song like the Z song or the C song, and the E at the end is silent. So here we have precise, and then we have leaf, leaf. So our word is precisely, 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 precisely. Or, so our word is precisely. All right. So the S here is making a sound like this, not a Z sound. So that was my mistake. The word is precisely, precisely, precisely. All right. But a lot of the times in English, when S comes before E, you can hear a Z sound, like cheese, you hear Z. But this word, it's pronounced as precisely, precisely, precise. And all right. What does it mean to be precise? When somebody is precise, what does it mean? So go ahead, guys, think about it. When you are precise, it simply means that you are exact, all right? You are exact. To be precise would mean that you are exact, or you're accurate, or you're correct, or you are without error. So you're error free, or you're specific, or you're detailed. We can use any one of those to mean the same as precise. All right. Our next word, we have the word plan. The ed here will make a d sound. So we hear planned, 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 planned. So there we have the ed making the d sound. And you notice these two words, they end with me. And me is a voice sound. Whenever words that use ed, which means it is used in the past form of the verb, showing that the action has already happened, and it ends with a voice song like me, then you're going to use the d sound for the ed. All right. What does it mean to plan? What does it mean to plan? So you have been planning about something. What does it mean when you have been planning? Well, when you plan, it simply means that you make preparation, or that you arrange things in a way that, you know, would allow you to have your flexibility, or allow it to go smoothly. So a plan is actually a forethought, or it is you organizing or ordering stuff or designing stuff, or you can say you shape it, or you even create an outline, or you what other words can we use? We can use maybe the word device. We can also say that we devise something when we plan. But to easily remember what plan means, just remember arranging something, or um, making preparation for something. Or your planning can just simply be you thinking about that thing before the time comes. Our next word, vacation, vacation. And that is one of our major words in our reading, because the word vacation is what our story is about. Our story is about going on a vacation. And we said that vacation means that you go on a holiday, or you go for a relaxation, or you go for a leave. So let's say you work or you go to school, you go for a leave from work or from school, or you go just to spend the time without being occupied by other things. So when you take a vacation, it means that you go on leave so that you are not occupied with whatever would occupy you on a daily basis. All right. And a lot of us, we have vacation time. Like if we go to school, we have vacation time. If we work, we have our vacation time. That is when we have a fixed holiday, right? Between the time of our work, we have a fixed time for holiday or for to take a break. So vacation can also mean when you take a break. All right. Our next word, taken. And in vacation, sorry, let's highlight that the A before Sean says A. Always remember it's pronounced as A. The TI makes the sound like SH. And then we have the small word on. So that's how we have Sean here. All right. So this word is actually not pronounced as it sounds, but the TI in English, when it comes before ON, makes the sh sound. So we have Sean. And that is used at the ending of a lot of words in English as a suffix. All right. And that would change the word to a noun. It would change the word to a noun. All right. All right. Let's move to the next word. So in this word, the root word is take. All right. The N is silent. Remember the rule. When the N is silent, most times the vowel that comes before would call its name. That's why it takes on a long sound. So here we hear a, the E is silent. However, when we add the N, the EN would go together to say N, N. So we hear, as in the rhyme N, like hen, ten, men. We hear that small rhyme. So the word here is taken, taken. When something is taken, you just have to think of the root word take, what the root word take means. So take actually means when you are able to, let's say, get a hold of something, or when you're able to grip something, or to grab it, or to grasp it, or to clutch it. Um, you can use all those to mean take. Or when you remove something from like a place, a specific place that it is in, or particular place, you can say that you take it. So taken would mean the same thing. Just mean taken is the past participle form. And so this verb would be used in the present perfect or past perfect form. Okay? Present perfect or past perfect form. So it will be used as a perfect tense. Good. So just keep that in mind for your grammar. Let's keep going. Our next word, we have UR makes the sound so. Then we have pur. The I here makes the long sound eyes because this word originally, as the root word, it would end with the E. However, when we are adding ing, we take off the E and we add ing. So this word is actually surprise. So the E would be silent and the I would make a long sound where it calls its name. So we hear surprise. And remember, I just give you the rule that whenever S comes before E, in a lot of English words, at the end of the word, you would hear Z for the S sound. Right? The most popular sound would be S, but Z is also one that we have to look out for because that one is also okay, guys. If you haven't the live yet, please like the live. If you have subscribed yet, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching me. Let's keep going. So our word here is surprising, surprising, surprising. When something is surprising, what does that mean? When something is surprising, what does that mean? So this word some native speaker would pronounce it as surprise. So you hear you hear that sound stress in the word. However, some would pronounce it as surprise, surprise. So you do not hear the sound being stressed. Okay? And that is you hearing a schwa sound for the sound. So you hear surprise. While some you hear surprise. You hear you hear it stressed. All right. So when you are being surprised or when something is surprising, it simply means that this thing comes across as a shock. It comes across as something that is unexpected. So you were not expecting it to happen, and then it happened. So anything can turn out to be unexpected, all right? Anything can turn out to be unexpected. Another synonym that you can use for the word surprise is the word astonish. Astonish means the same as surprise. So when you are surprised or when something is surprising, it means that that thing meets you being unaware, right? So you are unaware that it was going to happen, which means you were unexpected. You know, it comes unexpected. And anything that is surprising would startle you, right? Well, for most of us, it would startle us. So startle is also um, a word there that we can use interchangeably. All right. Our next word, we see our sound the again. So we say to earn, turn, turn. And we are going to add the ed one time, seeing that we have the word twice, but this time with the ed. So we have turn, the root word, and now we have the ed. So remember, whenever it ends with a sound that you can hear, like then you would make sure to add the sound for the ed. So like in the word returned, in the word planned, and in the word turned. All right, so the word is turned. So the root word turn and the word after the suffix ed is added, turned. What does it mean to turn? What does it mean to turn? When you turn, it simply means that you rotate or you go around or you spin. So spin is a word that you can use that would be at your tongue tip, which means very easy for you to remember. When you turn, you spin, or you go around and around, or you rotate, or we can say that you move in a circular direction. So you take that form of a circular direction when you turn. All right. Ready? You can also use turn to say that you change direction. So you change direction. So for example, if I am looking north and then I am now looking east, it means that I made a turn. All right. So I changed my direction. So when you change direction, that also means to turn. Good. How are we going, guys? How are we going? All right, so let's keep going. I don't see you guys in the comment section at all, but that's okay. Here we have two words. We have pie and we have light. And these two words, the GH is silent. The I makes the long sound. Okay? So remember that rule. Anytime you see IGH, the I makes the sound and the GH is silent. So hence in the word high, you only hear the I. So and I. Hi. And you can see the small word hi here, like when you tell somebody hi to greet them. Light, the same thing. You see ru, I, and the GH is silent, and then you hear t. So you hear light, light. So highlight. When you speak about the highlight of something, what does that mean? Or when you highlight something, what does it mean? So highlight, like it says high, when something is high, it's at the top, it is peaking, and it is like the best part of something, the part that is high, or what else can we use to say something is high? It is above, right? And then light now, we know what light is. So when we look at both words together, as in light being something that is bright or shining or gleaming, when we look at something that is high and then add a light to it, add brightness or shine to it, or um, create a gleam, or like when something is maybe well lit, then it simply means that this thing is the thing that is at the center of attraction. All right, at the center of attraction. So, which would mean that this thing is like the high spot or the high point, or if it's like a writing or a show or something like that, you can say it's the climax, or this thing is the focus. You can also say it's a focus or the best part, or where the emphasis is. Yeah, we can use all that to talk about the highlights. Or to highlight something would be to mark it or to feature it. So we can use any one of those to mean highlight. Our next word is trip, 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 trip. A trip is a journey that you would take for pleasure. This journey could include driving, it could be to tour somewhere, it can be to travel. So it's just a journey that you would take for pleasure, one that you would go on to enjoy yourselves. Our next word, realized. So we can hear the z sound, which is the last sound of the word. So the EA here, the E is silent, the E makes sorry, the E goes with the R to say re, that prefix that means again. And then we hear al, so we hear real. Don't ever try to call it as real, because real would be incorrect. Real would be where it says E, but that's not what we're hearing in this word. That's why we have to be very careful with our words in English, because remember I told you these words, English words, they do not stay constant. And that's one of the problems with English, why so many persons find it so difficult to read English or to learn English, because it does not stay constant. It is not steady. It always changes. So you may have somewhere you have the pronunciation E for the EA, then you may have somewhere you have the pronunciation A. You may have somewhere you have the pronunciation A. So EA is a really difficult one to learn in English because there are so many different pronunciations. Okay, guys, let's keep going. So our word here is realized. Remember, the I makes the sound I, the E at the end is silent. So because the E at the end is silent, it gives power to the I to call its name. That's how we come up with the word realized. All right. realize, when we realize something, remember realize would be the past form of it. When you realize something, it simply means that you are aware of it. Okay, you become fully aware of it, or that you understand it clearly. So to realize something means that you become aware of it, fully aware of it, and that you understand it clearly. Or when something is discerned, or when something is noticed, or when something registered, or when you have come to the knowledge of something, you would say that you realize. Or when you're able to figure out something, you can also say that you realize. Okay? All right. Our next word, sometimes. 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 So the fact that we hear some means a lot. Okay? So some means a lot, but it did not give us it did not give us how many, it did not give us a specific amount. And then when we add the word times, we know that we're dealing with some sort of um thing happening, or some occasion, every once in a while, something that is ever so often. We can also use ever so often to talk about sometimes. We can say at times. So it is just something that doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes would be for something that does not happen all the time. So this thing comes with occasion, or it may come with seasons, or it may happen every once in a while, or it might happen now and then. All those we can use to say sometimes. Something that happens periodically, we can also call it sometimes when it happens. Our next word, experiences. Experiences. So we see ends, and ends is an ending for a lot of English words. The C comes before the E, so it makes it sound like S. So yes. So we hear X, we hear the E, make a long sound here, E. So we don't say explore, because remember, E and R together says and that's why you've got to remember that English does not stay constant. Because in this word, we're not hearing the ER saying we're hearing the E say E, and the R is making it sound saying R. So we hear XP, R, E. So the short I sound we hear there. So we hear experience is. And remember, ES at the end of words make the sound is. So experiences, experiences. The root word is experience. If we take off the S, we get experience. So to experience something, it simply means that you were involved in it, or that you participated in it, or that it came into contact with you, or that you got familiar with it um, from maybe doing it, or um, being exposed to it. We can also use those for experience. Experience can also mean that you meet something or someone, that you encounter something or someone, or that you come across, or you come face to face with it, or you confront someone about something. Or it can also mean that you undergo something. So when you undergo something, that is also an experience. Okay. Also, we use the word experience, like when you go through the whole process of getting to learn something or to become knowledgeable of something or a skill. All right. Experience can also be used in the terms of feeling, that you can feel something and you can say, hey, I had an experience with nausea, which means you felt that way. Okay. So it can come out as a feeling um, too. Okay. Our next word, guys. Sorry, guys. Our screen has is the word least. Least. In this word, you can actually see the small word east, as in the position where the sun rises in the east. If you look carefully, you would notice that the E and A together make the sound E. The E makes a sound, the A is silent, and then we hear st. So east. When we add the L to it, we have east, least. So least. Some of us sometimes we get the least amount of whatever it is that it's sharing. So when you get the least amount, it means that you got the smallest. You got the smallest, or you got the tiniest bit. Or we can also say that we got the minimum, all right? Or what we got, it was just a slight amount. You can use any one of those. But least is actually like getting less, all right? So when you get less than anyone else, or you get less out of all of the persons that would get something, then you would say you get the least. Okay. All right, guys. So we have one more word to go. One more word that we have not called that word yet. Let's call it. So our last word is this word. We have X and we have put, X, put. So we can put E and C together, as in we can say that they make a rhyme, like in record. So we have X, so we have X, and then we have put, X, hex. So our word is X. Remember EX, X, and then pet, expect, expect. What were you expecting today when you came to the session? What were you expecting today when you came to the session? So when you expect something, it simply means that you want. What were you expecting? If I ask you, what were you expecting when you came to the session? What would that mean? What would that mean? All right. So when you expect something, it simply means that you have been basically anticipating that. You have been anticipating that. So it is something that you have been awaiting. It is something that you're being awaiting because it is something that you think likely would happen. It's something that you think likely would happen. So it's something that you were looking forward to or looking forward for, something that you were hoping for, something that you maybe thought in your mind that this was going to happen. So when you expect something, you have a high level of hope, or you have a high degree of certainty, which means it is something that you are thinking, hey, this thing will be for sure. All right. So it's something that you think or believe will happen, that you would expect it. Good, guys. So don't forget, when you expect something, you are awaiting it, you are looking for it, you are hoping for it, you are looking forward, you are anticipating. And this is something that you most likely thought would have happened. Okay. All right. So what were you expecting when you came to the session today? Comment, guys, and let me know in the comment section what you were expecting. Were you expecting to decode words? Were you expecting to just call whole words? Were you just expecting to read only? Were you just expecting vocabulary and nothing else? What was your expectation? Type in the comment section, guys. Get very active. Type in the comment section. Let's hear from you. It's always good to hear from you guys. Always good to hear from you. All right, so without further ado, guys, we're going to read. We've learned all the words. We're going to say them now. We're going to say them, practice to call them. Then we're going to be reading through our text. If you're ready to do that, type ready in the comment section, guys. Let's get after. And don't forget, guys, to learn simple things, pronunciation for words and all that. You guys can meet me on TikTok for that, where we learn how to call words that are so different. Yeah, that's where I'll teach you guys how to call words that are so different, how to pronounce words. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to start out by reading our words first, the words that we just did. Time, returned, result, felt, elated, elated, precisely, precisely, planned, planned, vacation, vacation, taken, taken, surprising, surprising, surprising. Remember, some English speakers, native English speakers, they may say surprising, surprising, and that is correct also. Turn, 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 turned, turned, highlight, highlight, trip, trip, realized, 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 sometimes, sometimes. If you don't know this word, best, best. Experiences, experiences. Least, least. Expect, expect. All right, so there we have all our words. Now we're going to be reading through our text. Don't forget, we're going word by word, because might be some of the small words that you are still having problems pronouncing. So we're going through word by word, pronouncing small words, and then we're going to be reading in phrases, which means we read groups of words at a time that can be combined to really make sense, okay? By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. All right, so that was us reading word by word. At this time, we're going to erase that, and then we're going to be reading in phrases. So this time, it's time for us to read in phrases, which means we're going to be reading groups of words. Okay? Groups of words. Don't forget, we're going to be grouping the words now. This would help us with understanding our text too. So let's go. By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. All right. So if you were able to read like that in the phrases, that would help you with your understanding of the context of the story. Let's now read it in full sentences. In full sentences now, here we go. Are you ready? Let's go. By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. How was that, guys? How was that? I'm thinking that was really, really good. If you were able to go through reading like that, you did an awesome job. All right. So now you are able to take your deep breaths, and then we're going to continue shortly. All right. So we're going to do it one more time, and then we're going to remove the clues from the words. Remember, the clues would help you to get the pronunciation for different parts of the word so you can call it. So we're going to remove the clues too because we want you to be able to read them without having anything to depend on. Yeah, and we have about 6 more minutes to read. So we're going up to an hour. We have 6 more minutes to read, and we're just going to be practicing for that 6 minutes. So let's go ahead now and call the words one more time. Time, returned, result, felt, elated. precisely planned vacation. Sorry, guys. Remember, I told you guys about my issue with my mouse. Hopefully, I get it sorted for the next session. Taken, surprising, or surprising, depending on um, whom you're learning English from, whether it's an American speaker or a British speaker. Turn, turned, highlight, trip, realized, sometimes, best, experiences, least, expect. All right, if you are able to call all those words, then you have done a good job. Now let's erase all the clues so that you have no clue to remember the sounds that the parts of the word make. Keep in mind while I'm erasing that you look at the words again and you try to remember them because reading is about memory. It helps to build your memory where you're able to remember the songs or the words, and that's essentially what we want you to practice. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's read the words. Let's go ahead and let's read the word. Are you ready to go, guys? Let's go. By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come with come when you least expect them. Guys, and you have to be very careful when you're reading. Sometimes you can be inserting words that are not there, just like in that case of me. Um, I was going to say a total different word. So that is where I was actually substituting. So always focus on your words. Okay. So let's try it again, guys. Because I was the one that messed up. Remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you haven't liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Let's begin. Are you ready? Let's go. By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. All right. Guys, remember I'm having some problems with my mouse, so we may not always get to touch on each word. All right. But it's okay. I hope that you're able to still follow along and hopefully you can get that mouse fixed for our next session. All right, let's do it one more time. So this time we're gonna speed up our pace a bit more. Let's try to read it a little faster. Let's add some pace to it. By the time they returned to the resort, Jean felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. And guys, try to have your rising tone and your falling tone so that you can sound as though you have some expression when you're reading. Don't just read in one tone. Don't just let your tone rise alone and it doesn't fall. Okay? And, put a little spunk into it. Add changes to your voice to make it, more interesting. That's what we wanted. We want to make it more interesting. So pay attention to your rising tone and your falling tone, and also pay attention to like your emphasis or your stress on words. That's essentially what you want to do. Okay. So let's try it again. This time we're going to go at a quick pace. So I hope you remember all the big words that we have already called and learned the vocabulary for. Those of you who were not here for vocabulary, you can always go back to check the vocabulary. And the vocabulary would be very early up in the video, like at least from 6 minutes in the video. That would be where we started vocabulary. So we'll get the vocabulary for each word. Let's begin. By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation. Guys, I'm so sorry. This mouse is trying to ruin it for us. Nevertheless, that's okay. We're going to continue. But we'll start over from the top. So let's begin. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. By the time they returned to the resort, Jean felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. How was that? Let me know how was that, guys. And if you haven't given a thumbs up, please give a thumbs up, guys. Please give a thumbs up to the video. Right? If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because we're going to be practicing to read a lot here these days. Okay? Let's do it one more time. Then we're going to call the words again. Then we're going to stop there for today. All right? Because we have just gone a bit 1 hour. Let's go. Ready? Let's go. Ready? By the time they returned to the resort, Jane felt elated. Her precisely planned vacation had taken a surprising turn, and it turned out to be the highlight of her trip. She realized that sometimes the best experiences come when you least expect them. All right. So I'll give you some questions to take away. You can answer them in your own time. So our first question would be, how did Jane felt when she returned to the resort? Or how did Jane feel when she returned to the resort? Our next question, that answer would be right there. Our next question would be, how can we describe Jane's plans for her trip? How can we describe Jane's plans for her trip? So the answer, it would require you to look right there because the answer is right there in the text. Our next question. Why do you think Jane trip took an unexpected turn? Why do you think Jane trip took an unexpected turn or a surprising turn? Why? All right. So to answer this one, you may have to go back to the previous readings, 2 or 3 lives back, to understand the story in order to answer that one. So if you were here from the creation of that time, then you would most likely have the answer. Our next question. What 2 words in the text can be used interchangeably? What 2 words in the text can be used interchangeably? Which means these 2 words, you can use them as synonyms for each other. But 2 words in the text can be used interchangeably. And you have 2 different sets of words that can be used interchangeably in the text. So you can go ahead and try to find the 2 that can be used interchangeably, which means they can be used as synonyms for each other. All right. So they basically mean the same thing for those who do not understand what a synonym is. All right. So the next one is on your own. So the next question is on your own. The next question is on your own. And with this one, you would basically give your opinions or your viewpoints or your belief. You would share your feelings or you would share your opinions. Have you been on a trip before and realized that that trip had an unexpected turn? Had you been on a trip before and realized that that trip had an unexpected turn? And if so, how did you feel? If so, how did you feel? So this would require a close-ended question, answer, sorry, yes or no for the first part. And the second part, how did you feel? That would require you now using your opinions or your beliefs or your experience to answer that part of the question. All right. So the part with how do you feel? That's where you're going to use your opinions, your experience, so that you can answer that part of the question. So that is totally about you. All right. And don't forget the first part will be close-ended. Have you been on a trip that had an unexpected turn? That would be close-ended, yes or no. And the last part would be open-ended. How did you feel? All right. So, guys, those are the questions. You can go ahead and answer those questions in your spare time. Um, if you guys want to reach out to me on Instagram, you guys can do that. My Instagram link is also a part of this channel where you can reach out to me and any further help you need, I can be able to assist you there. Okay, if you need worksheets, you let me know and you can also have those. Thank you so much for being here today to read, and I'll see you later for our next reading session. Don't forget to keep practicing. And if you need to go over the video so that you can learn the vocabulary, keep doing that. And don't forget to always practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes you do it right. So don't forget to keep practicing. All right, that's what we want. We want you to keep practicing. So thank you so much for being here. And hello to She Works Too. Thank you so much for commenting and for being here. So guys, I'll see you in the next one, in the next session where we learn English.